you doing?
Hello.
Welcome back to Leather Helmet Sports Phantom Podcast. Joined with myself, Caleb Cons, and my brother, Josh Cons. And obviously, we got the same t-shirts on today. It looks kind of mimicking. So shout out to Rudy Scherer, passed away last year. But anyway, we are going to move on to our last week recap.
Yeah,
and
week
then
12.
our total for the year recap, which is not looking good.
Yeah, we're going downhill. Quick trend downhill.
Almost at 50, and now we're at negative 30. Oh, that was on the week.
This is the week.
Gosh, I hope you guys didn't follow last week because that was horrible.
Yeah, it was just
Our reels were bad, too.
After bad. I'm like,
Usually our reels save us, and reels did not save us this week at all whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm going to blame my work schedule.
I'm going to blame too many, what's it called?
Or they don't have.
Too many primetime games. Primetime games, which means books are going to win more.
I don't even remember what my lock was.
Because more people are betting, more dumb people.
Oh, wasn't the Eagles or something under? Check.
Bro,
No,
I
that
had
was the week before. I don't know.
two,
It was
maybe
bad.
3 locks. What did I go? Negative what?
13.5. I went negative 18. Wow.
Wow, you did worse than me. You said I'm spinning.
No, I said I'm spinning.
Oh, okay, cool.
This is our yearly.
So we're negative.
So we're
6
negative.
in a year.
So we got a lot to make up for. I mean, like, I guess it makes me feel okay that I've done it before in regards to going up quick.
we can
like-
bounce back real fast.
Like 10 units, 20 units, 20 units.
It's crazy to
But-
think though that we're at negative 6 when we had a 10 lock streak. How's that even possible? That means all of our other bets like hit.
Yeah, I mean,
most of the
well,
time.
we're both below 50% win, so it kind of evens out when you're hitting your locks.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm saying. Most of our other bets hit missed besides our locks.
I mean, it's like any person that gambles a lot, at least they should know that
They're gonna go
when you're
negative once.
losing, you're gonna really go backwards. Like you go down quicker than you go up, just because of the odds.
Yeah.
Like unless you're somehow hitting positive odd bets nonstop as singles, like that.
And
doesn't
if you're
happen.
doing it long enough, you're gonna go negative eventually.
It's not completely true. What do you mean? My FanDuel is positive.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you start
some
off
point.
from starting from breaking ground, you're gonna hit zero negative eventually. To go positive the entire time, that's very
Yeah,
good.
you're saying
that means you're starting off extremely good for a good amount of time.
I get
Like you got to go in the green by a lot before you never touch negative. Literally, someone could place their first bet, lose their first bet, you're automatically negative.
I mean, I've never been negative like from net beginning.
From zero, you've
From
never
zero.
touched negative.
No, not since joining FanDuel.
You've never touched negative. That's
No.
I find that extremely hard to believe.
Okay.
Okay. So you went plus, 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 plus.
I mean, I
plus,
went
plus
up and
entire-
down, but I never went back to negative.
You never went below zero
No.
and then back up. All right. Well,
mean,
most
I was-
people don't. That's like saying you're going to a casino and you're never walking away negative.
I mean, I walked away negative, but it didn't go below where I started at, like my profits. So if like I
Right,
walked in a
basing
casino,
off like 3
and I-
years. I'm basing off like a season of football because that's what we're doing here. A season of football.
so like right now,
Like when we started the
started-
season of this football, you
I get what
probably
you're
went
saying.
negative at one point.
yeah, I went negative the first 2 weeks, and since then I haven't gone.
Yeah, that's what
Under.
that's what I'm getting at.
Since week 2 on, I haven't gone under zero yet.
Okay. I believe that. I'm just saying from the start of a season,
Okay, but that's like saying you could pull anytime when you want to start. Like I'm saying from the start of like betting
meaning
in
it's very
general.
hard starting in general, wherever you start at. It's hard
Whatever,
not to hit
sure.
negative.
Sure.
The fact
One
that you went
week.
positive forever, that's pretty insane.
Yeah.
From the get-go all the way
from
on.
the get go, I've never went below
Yeah,
zero.
that's pretty insane.
I mean, our dad's probably done the same thing because he makes like 4 bets a year.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
not what I'm saying long term. If you do it
Yeah.
long term at enough, you're probably bound to go negative early in the beginning of your betting career.
Either way, I got some solid stuff coming out. This is going to be the best bounce back anybody's ever seen. in
We got,
history of the world. That's probably not true, but
Week 13, it is fantasy playoffs are in 2 weeks, I believe. Pretty much everyone's solidified in most fantasies. Ours, I think this is the last week until it's really like set, right?
I mean,
Not like
a lot of our
positions, but
guys
who makes playoffs.
No, a lot of our guys are going to be done in the last week. So next week will be the deciding factor.
Well, Ryan's out. I'm out.
You're not out.
I'm out.
You're not out.
All right.
Nobody's
crazy
out.
amount of
It's
stuff
not
has to
crazy.
happen. Okay.
It's not that crazy.
Okay. Well, I'm already out in my
There's like
eyes.
4 guys that are like 4 or 5 wins.
All right.
Anyways, let me spin this wheel so I can figure out what I'm doing.
All right. Going over to
I
the
think
wheel. The
Not
Wheel of
next
Fortune.
week, but the following Sunday, we have to go to the game.
Giants.
Or Xfinity, yeah.
All right.
So get ready for that.
I'll probably be at Disney. Actually, now you're saying it.
Well, I guess I'm going with Eric Blinsky.
What day is it? It's Eagle.
The
You
12th,
spin your
I think.
thing. I'll
All
look
right.
up this.
Loser is doing Degenerate. All right, my turn to pick a random YouTuber. So watch out for that reel. I'm going to find a random YouTuber to place a bet off of.
You can't do the one I did, even though I still follow them today.
Yeah,
Pretty
still
good
follow 'em.
content.
They're good content, but I
Yeah.
think their bets kind of suck. I don't like them. Every time I've seen, at least I haven't looked at them nonstop, but
I think they're pretty. I think their bets are.
they
pretty
seem like
solid.
mainstream. Like they're always picking big names.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's always big names. No
Like it's
doubt
nothing
about
like, oh, that's a clever bet. It's like, oh, okay, you picked the guy that's been doing good.
that. Not even who's been doing good. Like he's a no name,
Like they,
which I think is good for their audience.
they just picked Michael Pittman to go over. I just saw like a notification for it. I'm like, okay, he's been getting the ball thrown him like nonstop. Like it's not really anything groundbreaking.
Well, that's why when I was
you
saying,
might still miss
when
it.
I said to you, you're like, oh, we should have just trailed me. I'm like, I just don't like trailing people because I want my own bets that hit myself. I don't want like I'll trail someone if I want to make money and I'm confident with what their bet.
They'd have to
But
really
like placing my bet to the world, I'm not gonna say what someone else said because then I just
yeah.
unless it just like magically happens.
But I would like if someone gave out really good stats, I would like promote it and just shout them out like, hey, like you gotta take this bet,
Right.
So and so.
like I
said
did
it.
this morning and it should be your lock, but whatever, we'll go on with it.
Yeah, fuck your luck. It's trash.
All right. Well, anyway, degenerate. You want to go over real fast for
What?
the new viewers what degenerate means?
Yeah, just did kind of, but so degenerate is I have to make a random pick, or I have to follow a random pick from any YouTube, really any sports podcast, whatever betting. So I just got to pick one and blindly follow it. So I'll throw a reel up and see where I land with my 1 unit pick. Hopefully it's not some garbage fire because
Hopefully not.
I have bad luck with those.
Mine hit, which is with
The
them. I think it
wheel
was Travis
spinning
Etienne.
bets. I think I've lost every single one that I spun a wheel with.
Pretty damn unfortunate, I'm gonna have to say. All right, well, let's move on to week 13. Like I told you earlier, I don't really have much. I think I have 3 single bets.
You got
And
any
that's it. And 2 locks.
spreads, money lines, over unders?
No, a couple games I'll tell you guys just to, if you guys want to look into it, and you guys maybe you feel like you're gonna place this bet and you want to feel more confident for what I'm saying. I think Steelers are winning money line. So obviously they're at -6.5 right now versus Cardinals, but
The hell's their money line? 200?
like 275. But I'm
Just
saying like
fine.
take them at -2.5, whatever it's at, if you're gonna put in a parlay or something, or
Still
that's your
probably
straight
like-
bet.
Poopy odds.
I think Broncos are beating Texans. Broncos are underdogs right now, +144. And then Detroit, I think, is going to win versus Saints because they've lost the last 2 weeks, I think it is.
I don't know.
They've been,
I mean,
I'm
I
pretty
get
sure
what
they
you're
lost
saying,
the best.
but like
No, they lost last week. I think
it'll be
it's-
closer than whatever the spread has them at, but
I still think they have to win this game. Like they're like, damn, we've been not doing it,
Talking
and
about
it's
the
really
Saints?
only been because of golf turnovers. Like they haven't been a bad
they don't have to win this game.
Production.
Though. The Saints have to win it really to stay in the playoff.
But their production hasn't been bad, other than golf turning over the ball. You turn over the ball 6 times in the past 2 games. That's
Yeah,
extremely
he's
bad.
not known for that either. So
Yeah, you cut that out, and they're probably going to dominate. So that's why I feel that way. And then as far as like any other games, I don't really like them besides Eagles 49ers. I think that's going to be a great game. And that's pretty much it. I think all the other games are just boring.
All right, well, I'll
BS
go into
this
my
week.
boring game picks since you didn't pick
All
any
right.
of mine. I got a teaser, a +7 teaser. So it's going to be 3 legs. You get Falcons and Jets. I have their total points teased up to under 41. And then the second leg, I got Dolphins -2.5 spread versus the Commanders. And last leg, you get the Chiefs +1 versus the Packers. So really, it's just Chiefs got to win, which I say everyone says like I don't see a world where it couldn't this could happen, but anything can happen. It just would take a lot in the Packers' favor. Like, it would have to be like pick sixes. It would have to be.
I think that's the most locked one. I think the toughest one's Jets and
Dolphins. They're just way too explosive on the offense side. Like, Commanders aren't the worst team in the world, but they really do not care about winning right now.
No, and their defense is horrible.
Traded away their defense. It was already not great. Sam Howell's not looking the best, but either way, I like the Dolphins to pull it away at the end. And then the under, it's really just saying these two offenses are straight trash.
Yeah,
like
that's what FanDuel's saying. FanDuel's saying it's over under 33.5.
Yeah, when something's been that low this year, I've always been like, wow, I should maybe take the over, and I'm glad I haven't because those games were dumpster fires. Like a couple Steelers games, it was like, I think it was a couple Jets games, but every game that's been like in the 30s has gone even under, and it's just been
I still think it's asinine that they have it at 33.5, but
I feel like it's just like the Falcons barely score until their defense scores.
Matter of fact, I'm going to take this live since we're talking about it. I'm taking Falcons over 33.5 total points just because I want to add into it.
I feel like it could end in between there, though.
Yeah, but I think it's going over. I think the reason they're doing this is one, Jets offense is horrible because Zach Wilson, but now what's his name's taking over, right?
Yeah, he's even worse. He already took over.
White, I think it was.
No, it's like Boyd or something.
No, Zappy's in play.
No, it's like Boyd.
Regardless, whoever plays, I see this as both having great defenses and setting them up with amazing field goal position with like turnovers.
Field goals.
To the fact that they can get points because they have such amazing turnover like field position. So I'm taking that at 33 over 33.5.
Unless Bijan runs for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, like I don't see it happening.
Yeah, but he can. To be honest, the Jets' defense weakness is their run game. Their strength is their pass game. But
either way, plus 120 odds. You tease them all, so it's a lot easier to hit, and you get 3 units on that. Starting off hot for all these picks. We're going in
3 units on.
If we're going in the dumpster, I'm going dumpster.
That's what I'm saying right now. But anyway, to stay with my thing, since I just took one added to my portfolio, should I say? I'm gonna take Josh. Let's start off with the hot one. Now let's not start.
Wait, what are you putting on over 33.5?
Over 33.5. Falcons versus Jets.
Yeah,
one unit.
1 unit.
It's at minus.
Probably just normal 110, 114.
110. Yeah. That minus 110. So I'm gonna skip my hot one. I'm gonna take. It's funny that you brought it up. I did not see the reel, so I'm not following them, but I'm kind of glad they did it because, like I said, I like their prop bets. Michael Pittman over 67.5 receiving yards at minus 114 for 1 unit. He's gone over this 6 out of 11 weeks, so you're over the 50% mark ratio. Minshew started 7 games, and he went over in 5 of those games that Minshew started. And obviously Minshew's starting now because Richardson is out for the year. The 4 games that the rookie quarterback Richardson started, he went under 3 of the 4 games. So obviously that tells a lot when Richardson's in that he's running the ball. They're running the ball a lot more. The game's at a slower pace as far as like scoring goes, but as far as like time clock goes, it probably goes a lot faster. So there's less opportunity for the air game. Titans are 19th in passing yards allowed per game, and they've let 12 players go over this number already this season. Going to week 13, so basically 1 per game. With Michael Pittman being wide receiver 1, he probably has the best chance to go over it, considering he gets the most and he's been showing up. The last time they played Titans this year, he went under, but like I said, he was hindered by Richardson. Yeah, it sounds like a dog, doesn't it?
Yeah, why is there a dog in my house?
I don't know. But we'll move on.
I don't have a dog.
The rush defense is 15th in yards allowed per game, so basically just saying that they're good. The good part of their defense is the rush game, while their offense is the bad part of their defense is their pass defense. So I'm going to take it at 1 unit over 67.5 receiving yards. And
I feel like
over.
Only reason I'm kind of away from that bet is because of the game script that might happen. Like, I feel like the Titans aren't going to be able to move the ball that well. And I believe the Colts O-line is really good compared to the Titans defensive line. So, like, they might just rely on the rush game, like, heavy.
I can see that. But Jonathan Taylor's also out.
But if he
obviously
gets...
they still have, what's his name?
If they pass the ball enough, Pittman will hit it. That's all it really comes down to.
Right.
Anyways.
Like, this defense not going to stop Pittman, basically.
Yeah.
It's going to be
it's
the
just,
game plan.
Do they get way too far ahead?
Yeah.
And that he doesn't hit the big play at all.
They're divisional, too. They're divisional. So I don't think the game script will be them blowing them out. Yeah, they are. They are.
Trash division. So.
Colts, Titans,
Jaguars, Saints.
Jaguars.
Saints? No.
Yeah, Jaguars, Saints. Yeah.
All right, so my first prop bet going against a guy that you've been hype on, and honestly, I've been hyping on too going into the season.
You're going against
just watching him. So I'm going against CJ Stroud.
Oh, I was going to do that.
He's been on fire.
I like it.
Probably averaging like 280 in the last couple of games passing yards. But I'm taking his under 268.5 passing yards.
Oh, that's even higher than what I saw. I saw 267, 266, something like that.
Yeah, you were looking on FanDuel. That's on DraftKings. FanDuel's got a 264. But yeah, you get under 268. So both games without Tank Dell this year, he's gone under this line. Dell is expected to play, but the fact that he just injured his calf last week makes me think like he's either going to be on a snap count or he's going to re-aggravate it and just be out the rest of the game. So worried about him losing his best explosive receiver. Dalton Schultz is already out for the game. Denver is surprisingly been pretty good. Surprising just because how bad they started, but they're pretty good against the pass. They're 7th against the pass in the last 3 games, and they're only allowing 183 yards passing. So guys like Josh Allen have hit under this line. I think he only threw for like 180 versus them. But every game, CJ Stroud, although he is very good, he has had an easy schedule against the pass. Like bottom of the barrel, barely had any good competition. And every time he was good at competition, like top 15 or better against the pass, he hasn't hit this line.
Yep, that's what.
So he went under Ravens. He went under Panthers, Saints. I think maybe even one other, but yeah, it was 4 games that he played a top half pass defense, and he always went under. So I think you give him enough pressure and don't have enough open looks, especially without his explosive guy. I don't see going over 220, so 268, give it to me all day, 1.5 units.
I was going to place it too as one of my bets, but I like to be realistic and tell you guys what I actually bet on, and me saying that wouldn't actually me be betting on it because I'm betting Stroud's passing leader, whatever.
Yeah, but you could still do both.
I'm not going to bet under him just because that's, I think, dumb in my eyes, but regardless, I think it's a good bet too also because you have Brown that's questionable. As well, it's not just what's his name, Tank Dell, and on top of that, Noah Brown. I think his first name Noah Brown.
The Cowboys. No, he is one there.
Yeah,
nobody cares about him.
He's good. What are you talking about? Go look at his stats. But anyway, Broncos defense is also the best way you can get through them is the run game. So I don't know if you talked about that, but they can obviously run the ball more on Broncos than they can pass it with how good their secondary has been. So, I don't know. Yeah, you got an issue upstairs.
Yeah, something's going on in my house. Like, I don't know. You might even be able to hear
Did you text Jamie?
Yeah. I'm like, is there a dog in the house? She's like, no.
That's not a dog. That's some...
Yeah, but what is squeaking? Oh.
Yep. All right.
My daughter's blowing a whistle.
All right. Well, anyway, let's move on to my second one. It is in the same game that I talked about before, Colts. I am taking Josh.
What game is this? 1 o'clock? I'll look while you look. But
yeah, I'm taking. It's the 1 o'clock game.
All right, so a lot of bets now.
Titans. I'm taking Josh Downs over.
Oh, I like him a lot.
4.5 receptions at minus 132 for 2.5 units. He's gone over this 6 out of 11 weeks, so again over the 50%. And the 2 of the weeks he went under, he only played 20 and 25% snap count. So you take those out, and he's gone 6 out of 9 games. That's pretty good.
He's a solid fancy pickup by myself.
Yeah, as long as he what's it called? Gets the snap count, which he will. It's just more or less if he's not hurt or not, which he isn't. When Minshew started, like I talked about with Pittman, it's better with Minshew. Well, it's even way better with Josh Downs and Minshew. When Minshew starts, he averages 2.2 more targets. That's a lot if anyone knows fantasy. Even to get one more target averaged is very good. But when you get 2.2 more targets, when you switch to the QBs, that's amazing. And if you take away the 2 games he barely played, one of the snaps of the 20 and 25% snaps, he averages 9.6 targets with Minshew. And I'm only taking him at 5 receptions. So he basically only need to get half of his targets with Minshew, with the way his target share has been going, besides the 2 games that he barely even played. Titans are 19th in passing yards, like I said already. JT's out, like I also said already. So even if they can still run with Moss, it's still not going to be a positive for the run game. Like, you can't just say, a talent like JT being out doesn't matter because Moss is there.
He was on fire.
Who?
Give him respect. It's Moss before JT came back.
Oh, I know. He had like 130 rushing yards last time they played Titans, and that's the main reason why Pittman went under. Also because they had Richardson at QB, but Moss can do, but it's not like it's saying it's not. It's not like it's saying it's helping the run game when JT's out. And whoever says that is insane in my eyes, but whatever. Last time they played Titans this year, he had 6 targets and 6 receptions. So obviously, for someone to go 100% on their targets for receptions is very unlikely. But it's the sheer fact that he went over, and he could probably do it again versus a divisional game that is really anyone's division right now in my eyes, besides Jaguars, obviously taking the forefront. But as far as like Jaguars can't beat the Falcons, then we got it wrong.
I don't know,
because Saints and Falcons are fighting for the division. Jaguars and someone else. Maybe they are. I don't know. But regardless, I think it's a division game. Sound pretty dumb for not knowing that. But regardless, I'm going to take it at 2.5 minus 132 for over Josh Downs over 4.5 receptions.
All right. I'm going another QB prop. So taking it over this time on a guy that's probably been under. No, I know he's been.
Let's see.
He's been under this line. 7 of his 11 games. So he's only hit this 4 times.
That's horrible. And you're taking it over?
But I'm taking it because it's a really underrated line. So it's over 192.5 passing yards. This is for Bryce Young of the Panthers. So I'm taking the over. I'm dropping 3 units on it. I feel really good about it. He gets to play the Buccaneers, who are second to last against the pass this year. They're allowing 270 yards passing on average. Only team worse is the forget.
He's only gone under 5, so you're good.
But everybody knows he's not been the best QB. He hasn't lived up to the hype as the number 1 pick.
No.
But the QBs that have hit this line versus the Buccaneers, Justin Fields, Dustin Ritter? Something Ritter. Desmond Ritter.
There you go.
Of the Falcons. Will Levis of the Titans.
Horrible.
Like, all trash QBs that do not even throw the ball
this is versus Bucs.
Nearly as much as the Panthers will.
They really only stop the run.
Yeah, so I think the Bucs are going to not struggle, but they're going to sell out to beating the rush. And the Panthers' defense is good enough in the secondary to at least slow down the Bucs, so they will get some kind of possession with the ball. But yeah, all of those guys, Fields, Ritter, Levis, average under 200.
Yeah, they're horrible.
So the fact that they all went over 200 versus the Bucs just makes me feel really good that he's going to get his opportunity to actually get comfortable. I mean, you could see him getting a little bit more comfortable with his receivers, like Mango, the rookie and whatnot.
And like 100 yards.
So unless the Panthers somehow blow out the Bucs, which I don't think is possible in any way, that they'll pass the ball enough. If he gets like 20 completions, he'll hit this line.
Yeah. I think Bucs
plus.
are winning this game for sure.
Yeah, I don't really care about. You're saying just for like the script, like they can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bucs should be able to score enough, even though it's a good defense. And then Bryce Young should be able to throw over this unless he just somehow gets pass rush bullied galore. But I'm confident. 3 units, negative 115 odds.
3 units.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
I'm telling you, this
Getting
is
up
it.
there.
This is it. We got like 20 units on
This
this
is the
week.
week we bust hard or make hard, I guess.
Let's go. And I'm feeling good about all of it. All these
right.
stats are
I
bing bong
got-
bing dong.
I got one more prop bet, and then we're moving on to long shots
me.
and locks for me. I only got one more. I got Curtis Samuel, like you talked about before, the other channel talking about the big names. I got Josh Downs, rookie. I got Curtis Samuel, which has been in the league for a while, but he's always like the third wide receiver / like gadget play type player.
Yep.
Curtis Samuel over 36.5 receiving yards,
I like that.
extremely low. Minus 114 for 1 unit. He's gone over the 6 to 11 weeks, so again, like it over 50% of guys. He can get this one through a catch, basically through his yak or his deep play ability. Honestly, he could get it in the run game as well, but obviously it's not going to count through the catch. So if they do some some bubble screen or something to him, then he could get it like that. Or if they just hand it off in front of the quarterback, I think it counts as a pass.
Yeah, jet sweep kind of deal.
So he could get it that way as well. Like I said, he's a gadget player. So the game that he should be, or the game should be a shootout, and with 2 of the top 3. What the hell did I write?
I don't know.
The game should be a
Two of the top 3
shootout
pass
with 2 of the
leaders,
top
right?
3 passing quarterbacks this year.
Yeah.
Which is Sam Howell and Tua on Dolphins. So I think it should be a shootout. I think both defenses have shown a lot of holes in their game and really have not looked great at all. Even though Dolphins names on the sheet look phenomenal, but they just have not performed,
Kind of like
and they've
similar
been
to
hurt.
Eagles. They're
Yeah.
big names, but they
They
gain
ain't
old.
performing this year for sure. That's for sure. Washington is 9-point underdog, and they should have to throw it a lot. That's all I really got on it. He's been
I like it.
his games that he's gone over usually hit like 80 receiving yards. So this literally could hit in the first quarter, and you're just sitting back like, all right, check. Don't
I
have
feel
to
like they
stress about
love
this
using
one.
him too.
Yeah.
Even not more, but pretty close to like using Dotson.
And the good part is Sam Howell isn't a passing leader because he just throws to one person a lot, and that person's phenomenal. He literally spreads the ball through everyone. So
cost me like freaking so much money on Dotson all the time.
yeah, so that's why I think under or over 36.5 receiving yards, literally he should be able to get this done versus the Dolphins defense. But move on to your last
I got
props.
2 more props.
All right.
So I got a 2-leg parlay. We're gonna take Pat Freiermuth, 25 plus receiving yards, and we're gonna parlay that with Sam Laporta, the Detroit Lions tight end, at 3 plus receptions. Get negative 109 odds. I got 1.5 units on it. Cardinals are actually pretty decent for being a trash team against the tight end, but I think that's more because of who they play this year. Not that they haven't kept good names low, but they haven't kept good names completely shut out. So, like, the only person they shut out that's a big name tight end is George Kittle. And he's like a hit or miss when it comes to, like, receiving game. Like, they use him a lot when it comes to blocking and just scheming in the run game in 49ers. So, I try not to put too much thought into that. It's more the fact that tight ends like Andrew and Ferguson, any tight end that was getting 5 plus targets versus them has hit this line. So, Ferguson, I just mentioned Andrews, Pitts, Kyle Pitts. Pretty much anybody that gets a decent amount of targets on the team should be able to hit it. Freiermuth just came off an 11-target game, so I think they're just going to keep giving him the hot hand, make it easy for Kenny Pickett since he is trash. Just let him make his security blanket throws, maybe 5 or 6 targets, make it nice and easy to get to that 25. Hopefully it's not 24 or anything crazy. And Laporta, I mean, like, this man's just been amazing. As is probably one of the best rookie tight end years in the last 10 years, if not the best. But Laporta's averaging over 5 targets per game, and he's got a 70% catch rate. I mean, Goff should rely on him more, more than he is right now because of the turnovers. So put them together, 1.5 units. negative 109 odds. And my last
real
prop,
fast before we move into the last one, I am also double downing on it. I'm going to put 3 units on that.
Yeah.
Because I just looked into it. Laporta has not gone. He has had 3 receptions every single game this year, which is phenomenal, especially considering that they've had 2 down weeks for Chicago and Green Bay. Like I just spoke earlier about with Goff having 6 turnovers. So if that stops, then most likely they're going to be able to get the ball out. If they're going to get the ball out, it's usually going to Laporta or Amon St. Brown. Sometimes Gibbs has been used a lot more too. I will say that. So that might take away from it. But like I said, he hasn't missed it once all year, and he's a rookie. So saying that on a rookie tight end is obviously says a lot. And then Pat Freiermuth, just knowing the Steelers preseason game, they looked phenomenal because George Pickens went up and basically just picked anything he wanted to from the air and pulled it down in preseason, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, he's gonna be amazing with Johnson. And then Pat Freiermuth, this dude over the middle, is amazing, and the only reason he has his numbers down, one is because he was hurt all year. Now he just came off injury. Like you said, he had 11 target game last week. He also had over 100 receiving yards, but it's also the sure fact that besides Johnson, he's their only weapon that really stands out in the middle of the field, and the only way the Steelers can move the ball down the field consistently is through the middle of the field. So they're going to use him, and it's usually like deep in slants, like going to probably 10 to 15 yards. So if he gets 2 catches, I see him hitting this. So I love it. I'm gonna take 3 units on it, and then we're just gonna keep racking up the not L's. And we go positive.
I like that one. It's a good one.
It is a good one. I like that one after looking into it.
And then Montgomery, anytime touchdown. I feel like I just got to take it. Like, he's been my guy. I mean, there might be a game where he misses it. This might be it, but that's why I'm not going crazy on it. Just going to throw 1 unit on it, negative 125 odds. Hit up DraftKings. They've had a little bit better odds this week. But yeah, I mean, he gets the ball. He runs hard. He's got a great O-line. They're playing. Who are they playing?
Saints.
So not
Tough
a great
defense.
matchup, but I think like just a couple weeks ago, they were like, Saints have never let up a rushing touchdown, and then it probably happened that game. But either way, I just think
What's Big Boy's name on Saints defense?
they can outmatch almost any team when it comes to the red zone. And David Montgomery, the last 5 yards.
Yeah. It's more about attempts now because Gibbs is actually getting attempts now. So it's
Yeah. I just think they still. Well, I mean, he's still coming back from injury.
Montgomery? A little bit. It's been like 3 weeks now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, they were like ramping him back up. Like, even though they're using Gibbs more, I feel like what's his name is the solidified red zone guy. Like, they're not coming to the playoffs and be like, here, Gibbs.
Yeah, definitely not.
Have more than 1 out of these 5 attempts. So lock it in. Only 1 unit, only because I'm not a big touchdown better.
What is it at the odds? Minus 125?
Yeah, it's not bad.
They're asinine with their touchdowns thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I would think he'd be close to McCaffrey. McCaffrey's like negative 200.
I don't really know who Pete Werner is, but he's out. It's their weak linebacker. And then
I don't worry about it just because
their strong safeties or their strong safeties out, which is usually the person that doesn't play freeingly, meaning that he can do the pass rush as well, which obviously stops the rush. And then on top of that, Cam Jordan, he's questionable, so I don't know if he's going to play, but that would be a big help if he doesn't play. Moving on to our long shot parlays that have still never hit.
I like mine.
You
I
say
like
this every week?
Yeah,
I like it too.
I say this every
matter.
week, but I just told you earlier, like, I'm in a different setting.
my gosh.
I worked less this week.
Okay.
I was up like 3-4 hours of actually researching thick. Like, you see them stats coming out? I usually don't talk this much.
Maybe your research is not good, though, because you had a better year than I have, and I researched a lot more than you. So
That's because I went to college.
Oh, that's what got you. All right, my long shot real fast is actually I want to go on FanDuel to get what I actually got the odds because I don't know what
roll mine up.
No, I got mine.
Oh, that's my loss long shot from.
So I got Najee Harris in the Steelers game, anytime touchdown. Jalen Warren over alternate. It's above his line, 60 rushing yards. I got Steelers money line And I got
staying in that
Najee
game?
Harris, 90-plus rushing yards. That's
What the
way over
fudge?
his thing. And I got Trey McBride, which is Cardinals tight end, to go over 52.5 receiving yards.
The hell is these
Then I'm
odds?
taking a profit boost of I'm taking a profit boost of 30% from FanDuel. Shout out to FanDuel.
What's before it?
The odds?
Yeah, before the profit boost.
2,460. So
Okay,
I'm
that's
getting it
pretty
to
good.
3,198.
I would have thought you had a little bit better odds. but-
Najee Harris has gotten like 4 or 5 touchdowns the past thing, so that's not my problem.
90 plus.
Yeah, 90 plus. He just had over 100 rushing yard game last week.
First time in 3 years.
Bro, the stats that I give you on this later on, you're going to be like mind blown, even though I already gave it to you. But hopefully a viewer hears this, and yeah, we can give away some of this money because it's going to be plentiful.
All right,
What's
got
your
mine.
long shot?
I got a 4-pick long shot parlay. So I'm sticking pretty close to my picks for the week. The only one I'm adding is I'm jumping on Jalen Warren's, but his receiving. So I got Jalen Warren, 25 plus receiving yards.
Okay.
You actually get plus on that. His receiving is only at 16, the line. Chiefs, -6. I just think after having some pretty bad games, they should be able to blow somebody out as bad as the Packers. And the Packers are overhyped because they got a good win versus the Lions.
Yeah.
I got Bryce Young to hit that 200-plus mark on the passing yards, so a little bit higher than my original single. So I think if my single hits, that should hit. So doubling down on that. And then the last leg, I got Javonte Williams. So he's the Broncos running back. Most rushing yards in the game versus the Texans. So he pretty much just got to beat out Devin Singletary. Put them all together, you get plus 1770. Lock it in. Here it comes. This is the week.
All right. Well, there's our long shot parlays that we'll
Honestly,
miss
if
once
Warren
again.
scares me, screw him. Because he's the only one I was like, I don't know. But I
Receiving
like-
is going to be tough.
I mean,
I'll
he's
take
the
his
receiving
rushing.
back.
I get it. But Brian Ruth is back, and we have 2 different coordinators now.
25 plus. I feel like he could hit that in one.
I guess it's only 25 plus, but it just all depends on his usage. That's all it is. But he can get that one. He's very explosive. I'm not going to say he can't. But moving on to our lock/my locks, because I got multiples.
Oh gosh.
Like you said, we're gonna hammer it hard. I'm hammering it real hard. I'm gonna start off with the one that I was really gonna drop at large, but I'm just gonna keep it a little bit safe. I'm putting 7 units on this, John.
A little.
Najee, I was gonna drop a full 10 units on this for no lie.
gosh.
Najee Harris
dumpster.
over 54.5 rushing yards, -114. This is a game that he had last week that he's going to do again just to prove and shut up everyone that talks about how he looks like he just jumped out of a pool and he's soaking wet and running super slow. Screw you guys. You don't know Jack. He was amazing in college. He is amazing his rookie year with the Steelers.
How old is he?
He just
25.
splits work with another running back as well now. So obviously it's going to hinder him because like every running back knows, the more snaps you get, the more in rhythm you get, and the better you perform. So taking away from that is going to hurt him. But he went over this 5 of 11 weeks, so not over 50. But it's all right. We're gonna give you a little better stats. Although the Cardinals are 15th in passing yards allowed per game, the Cardinals are 30th in rushing yards allowed per game. So you can extremely run through them, but passing, And guess what Steelers' weakness is? Passing.
By a lot.
By a lot. So they're gonna guess what they're gonna do in the game script when they're writing up. They're watching all their VODs. What are they gonna do? They're gonna sit there and be like, "We're running this ball." Najee Harris just came off a 100 rushing yard game. Warren had like almost a 51, so they had like a total of 150 or something like that. So
I lost that bet.
yeah. So basically, they should be able to run all over them. They just realized they can run the ball. They've been running the ball actually very, very good this year as far as yards per carry have gone between both backs. Cardinals have let 12 running backs. We're going into week 13. 12 running backs and one quarterback go over this in 12 weeks. 6 running backs went over 100 yards versus them. That is insane. And Cardinals have versus the Cardinals, and 10 went over 70. So we're talking about 12 running backs in total have gone over this number. 10 of those have gone over 70. This line's only at 54.5. So basically 54.5 to 70 if someone's getting 70 and I'm taking the over 54.5, that's a no sweat bet in my eyes. And 10 of them have already gone over this. And then you have 6 running backs that have gone over 100 rushing yards. That's insane because that's like an extreme lock if you're taking over 54.5 and they get 100. So I am taking his over 54.5 for 7 units, and I'm locking that John in. You can move on to your lock because I know that's going to hit, and I will follow up with another lock that's going to hit.
I got my lock of the week, so I'm going a little more higher than you. I'm going 7.5 units.
Oh, you probably just change that right now.
No, I didn't, but no, it's actually not a line I usually pull. But I was like, screw it, it's juice, so I need a little bit more units on it. So I got Javonte Williams. I feel like my only worry is the one that you said earlier is like, oh, that's definite gonna hit, and that's Chiefs money line. So Chiefs money line, and I'm parlaying that with Javonte Williams 40+ rushing yards.
Chiefs can't lose.
So Chiefs play the Packers. It is at Lambeau Field, but I just don't think they're comparable.
Put this in
all.
perspective: Green Bay beats Lions and Chiefs, and then people are gonna start talking about Green Bay being like contenders in playoffs. Nah, that's not happening.
Yeah.
I can't see that in the future at all.
And Mahomes would have to get hurt.
Yeah.
Period. It's the only way.
Or like they would have to drop 60 balls again, which they have. But I don't think that's
even then.
happen.
I feel like Mahomes would run 100 yards before
their defense is too good for that.
So yeah, Chiefs money line. We feel good about that. Javonte Williams 40+. So he's hit this 9 out of his 10 games that he's played this year. 9 out of 10.
That's
so
phenomenal.
90% hit rate. He only missed 1 by 3 yards, and that was versus the Vikings, who are pretty actually solid rush defense.
And he's probably
top
coming off his
7.
injury then. Let me check.
Coming what?
Was he coming off his injury at that time?
I think it was his second or third game in from his injury.
Who was it versus?
The Vikings, he lost 37 yards.
No.
He's been back.
He's been back.
I mean, he played most of the year. He only missed 2 games.
That's
like
actually
1.5
wild
games.
because I took his under that time in
So
a
did
reel.
I.
In a reel?
No, I took it in the podcast before.
Versus Minnesota.
Yeah. And you hopped on the reel after.
I don't
But
know that.
it's because I parlayed it.
Yeah. I remember. I was like, I'm actually gonna jump on that. Yeah. I was
So-
like, versus Minnesota, dude. Minnesota's rush defense is pretty damn good. So,
But
it's
yeah,
underrated.
he's hit this a lot. Obviously, 90% of the time. He's averaging his last 3 games, since he's pretty much been ramped up as the lead back, 17 rush attempts per game. That's an average. So he's gone as high as in the 20s.
It's like some Derrick Henry stats.
And he's getting 75% of all of the team's rush attempts, QB, running backs. So it is his role to lose.
and that's how they've been winning lately.
And he gets to play the Texans, who are actually pretty good when you look at the stats against the run. They're top 10 right now, but they let up about 88 yards per game to the running backs. So you give 75% of that to Javonte Williams, he should easily hit 40. Just give him 15+ rush attempts, and I like this line. I think the Broncos defense is pretty solid, so they'll be able to hold back, like I said earlier, Stroud. It won't be any crazy high-scoring game, so they'll rely on the run since what's his name's a combination of why am I blanking on his name? Wilson being kind of trash now, at least borderline. Like I'm done.
He runs a decent amount now, though. I will give him
borderline. Well, he's still only getting less than 25% of rush attempts.
I know because it's quarterback, but yeah.
But I'm just saying, like between the running backs, all the other running backs they use, and then I just think their pass game's not that great. Like Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, they're not bad. They're just very
mediocre to below
mediocre, and they're not utilized. Like I think Sean Payton has really figured out this team and how to win. Obviously, they've been winning. So the key to that is give the ball to Javonte Williams and trust your defense.
Like I said, that's how they've been winning lately.
But yeah, we got 7.5 units on a negative 121 odds. Lock it.
All right. So we got 2 7 units, puts us at negative 14.5. And then
I got like
3
20 units on a week.
We could be like negative 50 on the week. All right.
There's no chance in hell.
Moving on. I got my notes.
I'm not doing this podcast
on a piece of paper
anymore.
Give up, retire. I am moving on to my second lock. Shout out to all the Eagles fans. Close your ears or start ranting in the comment section.
That's fine.
Because we are going against this.
I'll jump with it.
All right.
I'm not locking
the
it.
The bet is 49ers money line at minus 146 for 5 units. Let me see what it's at now.
It's going to keep getting better, the odds.
No, they're getting worse, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
mean,
Majority of it has to stem down to Eagles. Majority of their players were questionable. They're both Smith,
Jordan
Brown,
Davis, the big bull.
their tight end Goddard. They're all questionable coming into the week. Yeah, I know. They're all questionable coming into the week. So it started off at better odds, and now it's actually gotten worse, I believe. Yeah, it's at minus 156. I got my 146, so that's what I'm putting on my record because it's my bets, but you can still take it at minus 156. It's 5 units right now. Oh, it just dropped again. Sorry, I guess they heard me. It's at minus 164 now. So, like Josh
I would
said,
honestly try. I'll check DraftKings.
they had at minus 2.5. 49ers were getting, and now it's minus 3 as well. But here we go. I don't know. You should look at the who's in and who's out. That's probably what's affecting this. Eagles are the underdogs by 3 now. It was 2.5. Even though they have the best record in the league, and they're their only team to clinch the playoffs so far, and they're home. So all I've been seeing all over social media is like, yo, Eagles are getting disrespected, blah, blah, this. They beat them last year. They made it to Super Bowl. They're at home. They have the best record. They clinch playoffs. Cool fucking beans. If you're saying that you're an Eagles diehard fan, which shout out to you. I all salutes to you because I understand I'm a diehard Steelers fan as well. But you got to sometimes be unbiased in the way you're thinking because it makes sense why they're here, all right? 49ers are 8-3, and they lost the 3 in a row versus Browns, Vikings, and Bengals, with Eagles being 10-1. The 49ers also lost to the Eagles last year by 24 in Philadelphia as well. And there was so much controversy.
Yeah, on the QB crap.
With the QB, but also just between Debo and Brown on Twitter, and just like 49ers saying, oh, we would have trashed you if we had a quarterback. We had no quarterback. This game was pointless. It wasn't really a game, which is honestly true. If you're an Eagles fan and you feel good about beating a team with no quarterback for a full half and you feel like you just dominated a team, like, I'm sorry, you're the person that accepts a 5th place trophy and feels great about it, because it's not a good feeling unless you're first. So if you're one of them and you're feeling great about it, great. Then I guess 2nd place in the Super Bowl was probably great for you as well. But anyway, it all sounds like it goes to the Eagles, like I said, but this is why the 49ers are going to win. If you look at it, what's the 49ers' weakness as far as
nothing?
What people look at from like inside out? Maybe not for you.
Their QBs.
All right, so their QBs
mediocre at best.
Mediocre at best, right? So their passing game is not that great, considering that he's
only
mediocre.
Good because the receivers are great.
Right. All right, so their offense, 49ers offense, 49ers are above Eagles in total yards, passing yards, and rushing yards per game. The only thing Eagles are above them is points per game for offense. So Eagles points per game is higher than 49ers, but only by 1 place. Eagles are 3rd in total points per game, while 49ers are 4th in total points per game. 49ers are 8th in passing, which is their weakness, while Eagles are 13th. So apparently 49ers' weakness is 8th best in the league, but Eagles are fine. They're fine in the passing game because they have Ertz, right?
Not good.
They're 13th though. 49ers are 7th in rushing yards offensively, while Eagles are 8th. So Swift has been having a phenomenal year. Their offensive line, everyone talks about how amazing their offensive line is. Great. Why is their offensive line great? Probably because everyone humps and dies on the tush push, the brotherly love. But their offense is also good. Offensive line is also good as well. But they're not as good as 49ers at running the ball. So I don't know what to tell you.
They don't have CMC.
Stats are stats. Stats. And they don't have Trent Williams.
DeAndre Swift is like...
And they don't have Trent Williams.
I don't care. I would take Lane Johnson. I would take...
No, I'm taking Trent Williams over anyone.
Kelsey or the line as a whole. Is
Yeah.
Which you need a cohesive line. Like one guy is not going to make a line all better.
Oh, it definitely is, dude. Do you not know 2020 Titans? Run left.
Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't. I'm telling you, it doesn't work against big teams.
All right, we'll see. I imagine whatever
like the Texans,
whatever CMC's rushing is,
a crap
is rushing over
for Tunsil, and he.
All right, well here comes the defensive stats. Right, 49ers are higher than the Eagles in yards allowed per game and points allowed per game. So obviously, again, their offensive stats are better besides points per game, and it's only by one placing. 49ers defensive stats are better than the Eagles, and by a lot. 49ers are 12th in passing yards allowed per game, while Eagles are 29th in passing yards allowed per game. And what was the 49ers' weakness? Their quarterback,
QB,
right?
yeah.
And what's Eagles' horrible weekends? 29th in passing yards allowed per game. So when you go into a game and your weakness is their weakness, you're making their weakness better while their strength is not getting worse. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So 49ers are second in rushing yards allowed per game, while Eagles are third in rushing yards allowed per game because they've been letting some teams run on them in the past few weeks. 49ers are first in points per game allowed, while Eagles are 20th. So Eagles are 20th in points allowed per game. That's insane. When you put these two stats mean the most to me. Eagles are 29th in passing yards allowed per game, and they're 20th in points allowed per game, versus 49ers first in points allowed per game and 49ers 12th in passing yards allowed per game. That tells me that it's going to be a dominant shutout unless we get some BS ref calling or 49ers lose all their quarterbacks again.
Shutout.
Yeah. No, not shutout. I didn't say shutout.
Just a dominant shutout.
No, did I say shutout? I meant performance. I don't think it's going to be a shutout. No doubt about that. Eagles are going to score. It's just a matter of how much are they going to score.
The home advantage helps a lot. Not that I think their stadium's anything crazy. Like, it's just not. They're not that loud of a crowd, but, like,
it's so people always say home helps. Why? Because it's loud. Why? What does that do?
No, but that's not all.
I just feel like it helps when it helps against people that struggle when they're losing. So, like, Goff struggles when he's losing. I think Purdy struggles when he's losing. Like, unless he's flowing really well.
You can't say he struggles when he's losing because he's only lost, well, now 3 games, but still only lost 3 games.
As soon as he struggles, his team's not doing well, he's like, fuck, I can't handle this.
I don't remember his 3 games that well because I was so pissed that I lost my bets. But anyway, where it was at. It was the sheer fact that they're at home and the loudness is usually what gets to the quarterbacks because they can't hear the plays. They can't call the plays properly. But guess what? When your Eagles defense is 20th in points per game allowed and 29th in passing yards allowed per game, it doesn't really matter that much because the Eagles are still letting up tremendous amounts of yards and points. So, but anyway, the 3 losses the 49ers got in a row, they were down Debo in all 3. So Debo Samuel's their wide receiver 1. I think he's kind of their wide receiver 2 now, to be honest. But he's been out all 3 games that they lost. He is in this week. CMC was hurt in one of them, only played 50%. He's in this game. He is healthy. And the other 2, Trent Williams, their left tackle, which has probably been the best left tackle since he's been on the 49ers, I'd imagine. I don't even know about before that. I think when he was on the Dolphins, I want to say. I don't know where he came from. Washington? I think Washington, actually. Yeah, I think it was Washington. Yeah. But he was out the 2 other games. So when you have Debo out, which is another gadget dude, he can do it in the run game and do a passing game. So you can't really predict what they're going to do as much. They can use a lot more game scripts. When you have that with Trent Williams and CMC all in one package, that's what makes their rush game so phenomenal. That's what makes their offensive line look good because they're running the ball good. So you have all 3 of them there, while the 3 losses that they got, basically they were down one of them or down all of them. And 49ers are pretty much all healthy, while the Eagles have 6 starters going into the week as questionable. I don't know what it is right now, but you guys can obviously do a little bit of research and figure out who's going to be out. I looked at this on Thursday night. It is now Saturday, and I'd imagine the final who's in, who's out will probably come out later today, if not Sunday.
Friday they have to come out.
Okay.
Injury report. Not who's in and who's out, but
I'd imagine one of them are going to be out of the 6 starters. I don't know. If not, then they're coming in hindered by their injuries, which will hinder their performance. Last year, Purdy got hurt before the first quarter was even over, and their quarterbacks in general, which was their fourth quarterback, was out before the third quarter was even over. So if you're looking at this as this mainly just comes down to the Eagles fans that are asinine and just like delusional to think that you are mind blown that the Eagles are underdogs right now. Like just try to understand that just because you beat the 49ers last year and just because you had the best record now doesn't mean that the 49ers are trash. Like just look at the 3 games they lost. They had their best players basically out. Now they're in versus Eagles. Eagles defense has been trash this year, even though you said, and everyone knows, they have great names on paper, but their defense is not showing up whatsoever besides their front line, which obviously when you're going against Trent Williams, I don't think you're going to be able to do that as much, especially when you have Kittle and Debo also blocking down the field and Ayuk that all can block DBs and corners. So we'll see what happens, but I'm taking the money line minus 146. It's at minus 60 something. So maybe you want to take 2.5, 1.5. I don't know, whatever odds you want to do, but I'm taking that as 5 locks. So that puts me at 12 locks or 12 units between both my locks.
Yeah.
So we are either going to be coming back here next week and not looking forward to it, or we're going to be showing why our bets are our bets and be like probably positive 30 at that point, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I got a decent amount of units on the other ones too, so it could go a bunch of ways for me, but if I have a good week, yeah, easily 20 units.
Be on the lookout. I think Michigan plays Iowa today at 8, and then they go into playoffs. And I will be making reels for Michigan in playoffs. Iowa. I thought it was too. It was last year.
Yeah.
They play today at 8. But I will be making reels for Michigan, which comes out usually. They play on Saturdays, sometimes Fridays. I don't know. But that will come out in the reels, and I will be betting on them once they make the playoffs.
Oh, shit.
Versus any big teams, they're destroying them. What?
I got to make the degenerate reel. I hate when I lose on those bets.
All right. Well, anyway, hope you guys have a great one. And I guess I'd advise not to trail us until we are.
No, trail. This is the week to trail.
All right.
No, this is it.
I think we got to gain their trust back a little bit.
No, you don't wait.
Or don't wait. Place the bets, trail.
Or at least don't wait on
and
mine.
Go from there.
You can wait on his.
All right. Wait on mine. I don't care. I'll gain the trust back like I always do. So shout out to you guys and have a great weekend. Peace.
All right. Maybe.